Hi everyone, it's me. My name is Alanna and I'm a Canadian, but I have been living here in the UK for the last 8 years. And the other day I was on the train and I had a moment and I heard something that reminded me so deeply of my life here in England. And then I thought, this is a video. I need to talk about this. So today I'm going to share 9 unusual sounds that remind me, a foreigner, of my life here in England. So without further ado, let's go. To start off this video, that particular train sound, we have welcome aboard this southeastern service to blah blah blah.
Welcome aboard this southeastern service to Ramsgate.
So this sound, this train greeting inspired this video. I hadn't been on the train in a while, caught the train to go see a friend for lunch, sat down and I heard welcome aboard this southeastern service to, and I just thought, wow, this one little announcement, this one little everyday kind of sound really viscerally reminded me of my home here. And it is so strange to have, can I call it foreign sounds? It's so strange to have foreign sounds that remind me of home, because this is my home now. This is my second home. And when I first moved here and everything was scary and overwhelming and strange and a little bit different, and I was like, oh my God, I'm never gonna figure it out. And then to be here 8 years later and to hear that stupid little welcome aboard the southeastern service to, and it just reminded me of home, which is a really weird existential kind of, I had a little bit of an existential crisis on the train. I'll be completely honest. Here in the UK, I've taken the train more times than I can count. Is it on time? Not always. Are they on strike? Sometimes, but I still am able to rely on the trains as my main mode of transportation. Next up, another unusual sound that reminds me of England has to be club card accepted.
Club card accepted.
I personally don't have like an allegiance to a supermarket, like I'll only go to Tesco or I'll only go to Morrison's. It's very much like whatever I happen to be living closest to. I do love Tesco though, no complaints usually. So I do have a Tesco club card. And you know I am scanning it every single time just in case, because you never know. And oftentimes I'm getting ready to make dinner and I realize that I forgot something. So you pop out to the shops, you grab that thing, swipe your little card, club card accepted. In this sort of realm of sounds, club card accepted is a good sound. My card is scanned properly, finally. Sometimes it doesn't always do that. I'm getting some discounts. How exciting. The more annoying sound in this realm is unexpected item in the bagging area. And you have to stand there like a lemon and wait for the person to come over to check that you are not trying to steal, I don't know, some tortilla shells. And you're just like, I promise I scanned everything. I'm not trying to steal, I promise. Next up on unusual sounds that remind me of my home here in England is when somebody says, good morning, Mr. Magpie, how's your wife today? I'm sorry, what? Before moving to the UK, I had never seen a magpie before. I didn't know what that was. I didn't know what they looked like, and I certainly didn't know that they had their own song. Which, can you say that about any other bird? Can you say that about any other animal? Does any other animal have its own song like magpies do? I don't think so. Now I did a little bit of a Google. I did a little bit of a Bing. Oh no, I'm gonna sneeze. You know what? Side note, a sound that reminds me of England lately are sneezes. My allergies are so bad the last, I want to say, week. So sneezing and sniffling and the sound of rubbing your eyes raw could be added to this list because, oh my God, my allergies, but that is not the point of this video. What was I talking about? Magpies. I did a little bit of a Google and apparently magpies do exist largely around the world. They do exist in North America, but largely Western North America. I'm from Ontario, which you could say is like middle and or Eastern. Technically, we are on like an Eastern time zone, but we're kind of in the middle of the country to be fair, and never seen a magpie before. And honestly, it is, dare I say, adorable. It's adorable to see a grown person, a grown British person, see a magpie and say, "Good morning, Mr. Magpie, how's your wife today?" Apparently it is a superstition. From my very basic understanding, it's a superstition, and it's bad luck to see a magpie by itself. So to avoid getting bad luck yourself, you have to say, "Good morning, Mr. Magpie, how's your wife today?" So I think some people started out doing that because it was a superstition, and now I think for a lot of people I know at least, it's habit. You see one, you just like, you can't help but just say it, which I think is just so unbelievably adorable. And I don't know the rest of the song. I know it's like, 1 for sorrow, 2 for joy, 4 for, is it 3 for a girl, 4 for a boy? Something like that. I'm not really certain. But the act of a grown person, even if they have no kids around, like there's no kids, it's just maybe my partner and I, and he'll see a magpie and he says, "Good morning, Mr. Magpie, how's your wife today?" Love it. When I hear that, I know I am in England. Next up, we have See It, Say It, Sorted.
See it, say it, sorted.
Now, everybody makes fun of how I say sorted in this accent, and they're like, "Sorted? Don't you mean sorted?" Yes, that's the one that I mean. So if you are already typing it out, go ahead. I'll give you a second, get it out of your system. I know it sounds really weird in my accent. Now, this is a sound that you're more likely to hear around London, especially if I'm maybe going into the city to hang out, meet a friend, go to an appointment, whatever. You're on public transport and you hear see it, say it, sorted. If you see something a bit dodgy, you tell someone who can do something about it and they do something about it or not. This particular sound feels so utterly British. If you have a favorite sound that reminds you of the UK, leave a comment down below. This one really, really reminds me of the UK. And thankfully, I have never seen anything that I needed to say something about, but I think it's a great phrase. And while we're talking about public transport, another sound that always comes to mind is mind the gap between the train and the platform.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform.
Somehow this one is very cozy. It's very cozy, it's very comforting. And I can't tell you how many times I've heard it over the course of my 8 years here. Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Of course, you see mind the gap all over the place when you are taking the tube or the trains, you know, between the platform and the carriage, mind the gap, right? But it's that audio recording, mind the gap between the train and the platform, that always gets me. Guess what year mind the gap phrase was introduced in this like scenario, in this like public transport arena. Guess when it was introduced? Did you guess 1968? Because you'd be right. Next up, I want to talk about doves screaming outside of my window. Now, I'm pretty certain they're doves, and I'm going to try and find a sound clip of them online, but there's something about this like cooing noise that reminds me of England. Since I've lived in England for the last 8 years, I have lived 4 different properties, and outside of one of them, it was like the neighbor, I think it was on the neighbor's side, and I swear they must have had a nest. I could never see it, but I could hear it, let me tell you. And they must have had a nest kind of on their side of what I imagine to be doves, because every morning at like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, especially in the summertime when it's already quite light out, I would be awoken by this cooing noise. A Monday, a Wednesday, a Saturday, a Sunday, it did not matter because I was awake. It is a very comforting sound, and it is a sound that really like reminds me of England, which is why it's included in this video. If it's at 4 a.m., it's annoying. If it's not at 4 a.m., it's very comforting. It's very sweet and comforting and reminds me of England. Hi guys, are you liking this video? God, I hope so. If you'd like to support me directly while getting exclusive content, please consider joining me on YouTube memberships. There's a big join button on this video. Every week, no matter what tier you are, I release a full-length bonus video that is never posted to like the wider public. It's just for the exclusive community. And also, side note, my Maple friends and my best buds on YouTube memberships have access to our chat room. So we have a chat room on Discord. It's a lovely place. There's people from all over the world in there. It's truly like it's a wholesome group, a very funny, wholesome group. So if you'd like to be part of our chat room community, please consider joining me on YouTube memberships. That is Mabel Friends and Best Bud tiers. You have access. Just throwing that out there in case that interests you. Otherwise, I hope you're liking this video. I'm about to sneeze. Oh no. Another sound that reminds me of England, I'm not even really sure what point this is. Does it matter? Not really, but it is the greeting, hiya, you alright? I'm sorry I have to say it in my accent, and it does need to be a little bit higher. It needs to be a little bit higher octave. Hiya, you alright? Before I moved to the UK, I never knew hiya was a greeting or like was a possible greeting. It's not something that you hear in North America, but when I came here, I heard it everywhere. And now, which is kind of wild, it is my default greeting. I say hiya. I don't always say you alright because it feels weird in my voice still. Give me a couple of years, maybe I'll get over it. But hearing people say, hiya, you alright? I'm in England, 100%. It is weird to see myself change over the last 8 years. Obviously you don't notice the change as it's happening, but you see it after the fact. So when my mom comes to visit at Christmas time and we're going out and we go into a shop and I say hiya, and I'm like, oh, that's probably quite weird, but it's so natural to me and you never hear it in North America. But I think it's a really sweet, kind of nice greeting. And with greetings, another sound that we have to talk about, and I don't know how popular or common this is around the UK as a whole or around England, but in Kent, it reminds me of England every single time when I hear, see you later, bye, 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 bye. And again, I have to go higher octave. I have to go really high octave. See you later, bye, 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 bye. It's one of those things that really stood out to me when I first heard it, and then I just kept hearing it. And 8 years later, I'm still hearing it. And it's just like, every time I hear it out in my mind, like I want to mimic it because it's so sweet. I don't know, it's hard to explain. But say I'm out on a walk with my partner and we hear somebody down the street being like, see you later, bye, bye. Both of us now will kind of do it to each other and be like, see you later, bye, bye. It's just something about hearing it. It just brings a smile to my face, feels very English. I would have never guessed that that is a goodbye option until I lived here. It's definitely one of those things that you don't notice or you don't realize until you're actually like actively living in it. Now this next one might be a bit niche, but it's something that really reminds me of England. I'm hoping to play a little bit of a snippet of it and not get copyright claimed, but it is the Pearl and Dean trailer intro that you might see at the cinema. From my understanding, this is quite old, but where I used to go to the cinema like every week, I had one of those cards that you could get like unlimited movie passes and stuff. And I used to go every week, and at the particular cinema that I went to, they often had this sound thing, this like intro. And I always thought it was so funny, and it really stood out to me because Pearl and Dean, I'm like, I don't know who that is. Why are we about to see trailers presented by Pearl and Dean? Who is that? But now this sort of sound clip, I could hear this without seeing the screen or like even being in a cinema. I could just hear this sound and I'm instantly reminded of going to the cinema. I'm instantly hungry for popcorn, mixed, if you don't mind. And this is sort of like, I guess it's like a jingle, right? This little like jingle trailer commercial. Is it like a commercial? It's like a pre-commercial jingle. Anyway, this reminds me of England. I realize it's probably a bit niche. Maybe you've never heard of it. To me, I hear that means I'm sitting in a nice, cozy, hopefully cozy cinema. I got a big thing of popcorn and a Coke Zero, please and thank you, and I'm about to watch a film. What more can you ask for? If you have a particular sound that makes you feel happy, makes you feel like, yes, I'm in England, leave a comment down below if you would like to watch more content right now, which would be totally cool. Why not this one? I talk about the last 8 years working here in the UK and how it's been very different. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, bye!